that aspect of it. And Psalm 90 is also the inspiration for the very short Paschal Troparion. Christ is risen from the dead, trampling down death by death. That trampling down is from Psalm 90, because in Psalm 90 the Messiah is going to tread on the viper and the lion cub. Critters that'll kill you, and it reminds us he takes on death with his own self. Not a bad idea to reflect on and appreciate. So the synaxis, as St. Nicholas Cabasilas teaches, prepares us and cleanses us for the divine Eucharist. Jesus even says in the Gospel of John, chapter 14, chapter 15, we read it in the Passion Gospels. It's the first Passion Gospel when we gather for the 12 Gospels. And he says there somewhere, you are now all made clean because of the word I have been speaking to you. It's an interesting idea, that Jesus speaking his word cleanses people. It's enshrined in the very reading of the Gospel in the Divine Liturgy, and goes unappreciated because we've become blinded and distracted by other, pious thoughts that have nothing more going for them than somebody made them up at some point and convinced us this is what we should be thinking about. But that's interesting that the Church has seized on these words. You are now all made clean because of the word I have been speaking to you, and presents the reading of the Gospel in that light to us. That just standing there and giving your attention to the Gospel is cleansing. The actual word in the Gospel of John is prune. The pruner gets out his shears and he trims off all the dead branches. But it also has this additional meaning of cleansing, so the bush is prepared for new life. Once again, it's no small thought. It boggles the mind, in my view, just to consider that, the power of the reading of the Gospel. When the immigrants came here 100 years ago from the Carpathian Mountains, people came up and held lighted candles at the reading of the Gospel. Somebody trounced that out. Somebody came along and got rid of that. And yet St. Jerome tells us in one of his letters, he was the great Bible scholar who lived out the second half of his life in a monastery in Bethlehem. And he said, here in the East, when the Gospel is to be read, everyone lights a candle. Not for light to see by, because the sun is already burning in the windows, but to show a sign of joy. We still do that, at least we who belong to the Russian tradition, we still do that at the reading of the Passion Gospels. Everyone holds a lighted candle. But this idea of showing a sign of joy during the reading of the Gospel in church every Sunday, by people coming forward with lighted tapers, it's not a bad idea. To remember that the old immigration was still doing that when they came here, and then somebody stomped it out because they didn't do it from their part of Russia. Do you follow? Mm-hmm. So, in talking about the synaxis, you can see we can go in many directions.
Let me ask you a question, Father Paul. So synaxis would begin from the coming together. And first we would hear the prophecy, then we will chant the psalm, and then apostle, then would be another psalm, Alleluia, and then we will have before the reading of the Gospel the prayer before the Gospel.
Yeah, prayer before the reading of the
and
Gospel.
Would you tell us why is prayer inside of those readings?
Well, it's for the longest time the churches in East and West had no prayer connected with their readings of Holy Scripture. It was, I guess, thought that the Scriptures themselves are self-explanatory, and at some point, I guess, in Jerusalem, they felt the need for a prayer, and this prayer was brought to Constantinople, maybe in the 12th century, and the Roman Church still has no prayer before the reading of the Gospel. So obviously somebody thought it was necessary to fill the minds of the faithful with some idea of what fruits they should be gaining from the